Hi everyone, welcome to the Great British Baking and Cooking Show. I'm Amelia.
And I'm Rachel.
And first we're gonna start off by making Mary's Victoria sandwich. The first step to making this is to
wash your hands. Today we'll be using Kitchen Lemon from Bath & Body Works.
After you wash your hands, the next step is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Fun fact!
The Victoria sponge cake was named after Queen Victoria, who ate a slice of sponge with her afternoon tea. First, we're going to start off by making the sponge portion of the cake.
But before we do that, here's a historical fact about Great Britain. By the 6th century AD, German people, also known as Angles, Jesuits, and Saxons, were moving into Britain. The Angles gave their name to England, and the English people became known as the Anglo-Saxons.
Here we have 4 large free-range eggs, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 cup of self-raising flour, 1 cup of sugar, and 8 ounces of melted butter. Now we're going to mix all of these ingredients together.
After you finish mixing the ingredients together, you divide the mixture evenly into 2 cake pans.
Now you place the cakes on the middle rack of your oven for 25 minutes. Did you know the British drink 163 million cups of tea daily? That's about 20 times the amount of cups Americans drink.
While the cakes are baking, start to prepare the jam. First, you mash the raspberries in a deep dish saucepan.
Add in a cup of sugar to the raspberries and bring to a boil over low heat. After the jam is done boiling, put it into a shallow container and let it cool.
After you make the jam, start on the buttercream frosting.
The Treaty of Union in 1707 combined the kingdoms of Scotland and England, which included Wales, and led to the formation of the United Kingdom of Great Britain. For the buttercream, beat the butter until soft. Once the butter is softened, add the icing sugar and beat until smooth.
This is what the final buttercream frosting should look like. While waiting for the cakes to cool and the jam to cool, start cleaning up. The first step to preparing the cake is to spread the jam on one half of it.
The next step is to add the buttercream. The last step is to sprinkle granulated sugar on top.
Here's the final Victorian sandwich.
Yummy!
Now that we finished the cake, we're moving on to our next dish, which is Cornish pastry.
Fun fact, this dish was inspired by the Harry Potter movies and books by J.K. Rowling, starring Daniel Radcliffe. Preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit.
After preheating the oven, you take 1 turnip and dice it and place it in a mixing bowl. You also dice 1 full potato and place it in that same mixing bowl. You then dice a medium-sized carrot and place it in that mixing bowl. Lastly, you have diced onions, which you also place in the mixing bowl. Also add about a tablespoon of thyme. And then lastly, you add diced skirt steak to the mix. Always remember to wash your hands after working with meat. After all of these items are in the bowl, you mix them all together. After mixing all the filling for the pastries in a big mixing bowl, the third step is to make the pastry crust. The UK has the highest rate of obesity in the world, with almost 25% of British adults being obese.
In 1927, Ireland seceded to form its own independent nation, but a day later, Northern Ireland rejoined the United Kingdom. To make the dough, add 7 ounces of butter into 4 cups of flour. Make sure the butter is diced and cold. Then add 1 tablespoon of baking powder and 1 tablespoon of salt and mix together. Moisten the edges with water and then add the filling to 1/2 of the pastry. And fold over. Before we pop these in the oven for 30 minutes, we have to wash them with eggs. A fun fact about Britain: the Industrial Revolution started in the 1800s with the cotton mill. Because the pastries are in the oven, it's time to clean up.
But before we do that, I have one more historical fact. The UK does not have a written constitution. It has a constitutional monarchy, meaning a monarch has the ultimate authority over the government, although the monarchy generally follows the rules of Parliament or abides by British tradition.
This is what the finished product looks like.
Thanks for tuning in to the Great British Baking and Cooking Show.